Hello, my name is Joan. In this tutorial, I'm going to explain to you what API stands for, what API is, and what API does. Now, API stands for Application Program Interface and is used by developers that don't want to spend lots of time to actually develop a software from scratch. So, the API basically is an interface that will check, if the passkey is correct. If the passkey is correct, then the users, the person who creating the application, will have access to the engine, to the actual main program. So the engine basically is the main program. Right? Now, if the passkey is correct, if the login details, let's call them, are correct, then the application will have access to the engine, to the main program. If the passkey is not correct, if the API is not correct, or if there is no API there, the application will not be able to access the program. So the application basically is the front end, is the graphical user interface, which will allow the user to communicate with the engine, with the main program. Now, if we control and enter here, I'm using Adobe Flash, we will be able to see something like, create a little animation here called engine. Okay, it's not brilliant, but it does the trick. Now, what shows you here is the engine is running. No matter what, the engine is running. Engine could be Google's engine, could be Dropbox, could be Facebook, could be Yahoo's, could be Bing's, or any other big vendor here, or any other application developer out there. Anyway, you have stage one, you have your application as a developer. So as a developer, you have to have the front end. So the people who visiting your web page or who have installed your software application will be able to actually do certain things. Now, in order for you to avoid developing something that is already developed, like say for instance Google search is already developed there and is very good and is very powerful. Google's algorithms are very accurate. Accurate to about 90%, 95%. So you don't want to do all this from scratch because it's going to be too time consuming and you're going to require lots of money as well. Google, however, has an API. They are available for us to use. So if let's pretend that this is Google's API, that's why I've put here Google API. Now we need to have the login details. If we put the login details, the API information onto our web page or to our application, this will allow us to have access to the engine. Let's see this in real. Let's go back to this website here. I'm going to type here menu I'm on the SourceTech website. I'm going to their search bar and type the word menu and click search. As you can see, SourceTech, they are using Google's API. Very quickly and very easily, I found all the results. So all the information that comes from SourceTech.com and everything that has the word menu has been highlighted for me. And very easily and quickly I can find all the information I need. However, Google are not stupid. They provide you their API, so they want to make some money as well. So in order for you to use their API, they display some adverts here and some adverts here. And these adverts usually are coming based on the keywords you search. In this case, you might lose customers. If you're selling a product that your competitors are selling and they're actually advertising the product, you might actually lose sales. So as you can see here, another drawback is you navigate yourself away from Google, from your website. Now, let's go back to this. So this is the user interface. If you click on it, you're using the engine. However, not always you will need to do this if you are using different APIs. Let's go back to this. The purpose of using an API is you as a developer to sell your product. The API vendor will not make a penny when you are using their API unless they do something similar to what Google does, apply some adverts. So if I have created based on SourceTag, what they have done, they have created a web page. So let's pretend that this wall is SourceTag web page, and here's the application. Yeah, that's that one, this symbol here, and this is the same thing. So what we're doing, we'll put this there, we'll put the company's name here, and people now, if I run the animation, people will not be able to see that Google is behind it. So let's move this further down a bit, and then can you see here? However, Google is behind it. People cannot see it. Now, based on this example here, people will be able to see that Google is behind on the back end because these people, SourceTag, are using Google's API in a way that will allow them to do this. If you pay Google some money, you can actually remove all this extra stuff. So you can use their API by pay them monthly, weekly, or based on the search results. You can actually ask them to remove all the ads as well as their logo. Everything comes down to money. If you do this, you can use their API. The results you will receive are still the same. However, you will have access to actually replace everything. You can change the color of the hyperlink. You can change the size. You can add a picture next to every single result, and so on. Again, comes down to money. So this is Google's API. Let's have a look now Facebook's API. I have created a website for Whitchief Shopping Center, which is located in Rochdale. Now, I have created their website, and I have created the mobile application as well. Now, the reason why I'm using Facebook's API is because if my customer adds a new event on their Facebook account, automatically this information will be displayed on their website and on their mobile app. If my customer removes an event from Facebook, automatically will be removed from the website and the mobile app. So this is a powerful way to actually manage the content of your website by using Facebook's API. Facebook's API can be used for other things as well. Now, the problem you have with APIs, including Facebook API, no exception, is the fact that because you are using their API, they've got full access to their actual software, to the engine. And because of that, let's put this away. And because of that, if there is any security threat and they have to make any changes on the application, sometimes your software application will suffer. Your software application might need a bit more customization, further customization, to display the information in a way that was displayed before. And here's a very good example. When I started with this API, Facebook's API, I had everything in proportion. Can you see the border here? The border was perfectly in line with the picture and the text. There was no white line at the bottom either. So Facebook has made some changes there on their API, which actually led for some of my information not to be displayed in the way that original was displayed, basically. So what I need to do as a developer, go back and make some further changes here in order to ensure that my information, my application works accurately and display the information that I want my users to see accurately. So to summarize, what API is and what API does. API is the passkey which will allow you to access the main engine, the main program. Once you have this passkey to connect to the main program, you can then display information or the results or basically a side of the program, or even the full program at times on your application. For example, you could use Microsoft's API, which then will allow you to have something like similar to SkyDrive, where you can actually create Word documents. So you can have a Word document, a web page, where you will be able to create and save Word documents. If you are using Microsoft's API, you will be able to do this. I hope you've learned what API is and what API stands for in a way that you will be able to remember, and you will be able to answer some questions raised in the future. Thank you for watching.